My dad and I are trying to win the Serie A before each other. However, we are leaving all the ins and outs of our transfers to our director of football, outside of one spin of the transfer wheel at the end of each season. And recently, it's been heartbreaking as our director of footballs have been selling our best players to bigger clubs just after we have fairly successful seasons and are failing to replace them in the same windows. We've been competing very well domestically though, despite this, and even reaching cup finals only to lose, however. Confidence is high though, and despite the cup losses, we are doing very well and both sat in the top 5. The wheel was generous to Dad last time round as it was allowing him to add a player to his transfer targets. Well, I was searching for a free transfer, and while there was a lot of options at centre-back, which is a position I do need to improve, and a decent striker, one player really stood out from Portugal. And so I made the approach for Pedro Marquez to become a Barry player, and thankfully he accepted the contract that was on offer. Meanwhile, Dad's director of football was putting in a massive £32 million bid for Erwin Mercier, who Dad was targeting. And both of our transfer targets were successful and will be joining the club for season 13. My plan this year is to deploy Marquez as the spearhead in my 4-3-3 narrow that has 2 supporting roles next to him. And it looks to be paying off this season as we managed to hold on to all of our best talents as our director of football rejected any bids coming in and we go through the start of the season unbeaten. Dad's director of football, however, has other ideas, and he sold Ben Doak to Al Ali for a big fee of £41 million after only arriving on a free transfer 3 seasons ago. And although Dad's striker Dennis Girl has been on fire in the first 3 games, it's the signing in goal that's been making all the headlines for Sampdoria this summer. As Dad's director of football signed Gianluigi Donnarumma for just £6 million to play in goal this season as the 36-year-old finally returns to the Serie A. Dad, I really lucked out finding what I think it might be the best free transfer available throughout this whole journey.
This isn't far off the best transfer at full stop, whether you paid for him or not, but a free transfer as well.
Yeah.
Wow, God almighty.
Pedro Marquez, who's been at Maritimo throughout his whole career, scoring 15 goals for Maritimo in the last 2 seasons in the league, got him on a free transfer, and boy has he started well. 2 goals, 3 assists, and a player of the match for a free transfer. Cracking. I'm really excited to bring him to the club. And to be fair, what we've done very well is keep hold of all of the other players.
Yes.
Our director of football has done us a really solid job. Now, the rest of the window, obviously we didn't have that much money. Joe Scally come in on a free transfer, which was already a done deal. That's fine. Good depth, and actually, compared to the rest of the team, he'll probably start quite a few games. Duganzic, another striker. And to be fair, although his pace is quite low, another good one.
Yeah.
Another good one. So he's been at Hajduk Split. He hasn't scored that many goals last season, 5. But the season before, he got 16 in 29. So we'll see whether he plays quite well. Tom Beckett. Guess what? Another striker.
He's not a bad striker now, really.
He ain't bad either. So we've got 3 strikers just in this window. Again, he hasn't played like all of the games. He got 13 and 19 2 seasons ago, which is unbelievable, really. But yeah, it was only last season, actually, because we paid for him this season quite late on in the window, as you can see, after he's already played a few games. But then finally, we got Riccardo Benedetti, he's a right back, but he's the second right back that we have in this window. So there we go. Our director of football, who, of course, we changed a few years ago, I think has done a good job in Sam Ellis, has done a good job in buying quality players. He's just stuck with 2 positions.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness to him, the rest of the positions were okay. Marquez is going to be locked in as our main striker. I think that makes sense because he gets put out to the right there, where I prefer him in this centre midfield role, in the centre forward role. But our midfield is decent. Obviously, Raul has come into his own now. He's 23. He's getting game time. Wagner and Ramirez has been around for a while and developing okay. But I still wish that we had a better left-sided defence than Joaquin. But, hey, okay, if we were doing the transfers, that's how picky we would be.
Yeah.
Schedule at the start of the season, we played Dad in a friendly. It was a 3-3 draw, so don't worry about that. But the games that we have played in the league, we've drawn with Atalanta 2-2, beaten Frosinone 3-1, and beat Fiorentina 5-2, with Mike Stegner scoring a nice little hat-trick there. So, again, a good striker that we already had at the club, 20 years of age. And remember, he only cost us 250k after his first season, so he started the season really well as well. Dad, now your transfers, you obviously had the add to transfer target thanks to the wheel, and you spent almost all of your budget
Yeah, I did, yeah.
on one player. But you then, unfortunately, sold Ben Doak, which is something you didn't want to happen.
No, I definitely didn't want to sell him. He was probably one of my best players last couple of seasons. So, yeah, that's a bit of a disappointment, really.
Free transfer to £41 million, though,
It's good
from a business perspective.
It's so good, that, isn't it? Yeah.
I know a lot of people in the earlier seasons were like, "Oh, this series is not it because of how bad the director of football is." I do think it's really stepped up in sort of like the last 3 or 4 seasons, maybe even 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And the quality of players and the transfer business that's getting done. But the rest of the transfer business is mental. So, Erwin Mercier.
Yeah.
Why did you go for Erwin Mercier?
I needed a defensive midfielder. Basically, that was what I felt was my weakest position.
Yeah, well, to go back to that, you did, obviously lose Didier Charles last season.
Yeah.
Which was never replaced.
No, he wasn't. No, so there you go.
That makes sense.
So that's what and he was the best I could find at the time. So yeah, and he plays at the other 2 positions, which it comes as a bit of a bonus as well. But he's a good player. I feel he'll do well in that position. He's 2-footed. I mean, his mentals and his physicals are all there to be seen, really. You know, so and his tackling, marking, he's got it all. I feel
Just can't pass.
he just can't pass, but as long as he just stops the play going past him, I'm happy with that.
He reminds me of Fred, who was at Man United as a midfielder.
Yeah.
11 for passing, but he's got good vision. Fred used to always see the pass. It was just 50-50 whether he'd be able to make it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So, yeah, he's the version of Fred.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, you love signing a goalkeeper.
Well,
And they're much better than Donnarumma.
I just couldn't believe our director of football pulled this one in for me. I just went over and gave him a big kiss on the top of the head. Just thank you very much. I love you. I mean, yeah, this is great, isn't it? I couldn't ask for a better keeper coming into the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Happy days for me.
What a keeper. Jelani Best was the final signing. Good cover for that left wing. He's on a loan, but will be joining permanently next season. Decent winger, to be fair.
He's a decent winger, but we know I've got quite a couple of good wingers on that side anyway. So, yeah, but he could get in the side, but I do if I get any injuries.
Yeah. Now, tactically, we are looking at a 4-4-2 with, obviously, Voilemund being pushed up. Your strike partnership of Dennis Girl and Nasty is obviously
Still going well.
Still going well now. Yeah, they're scoring goals. I mean, Dennis Girl has got 7 in 3 games at the start of this season, and yet you're sat in 7th place.
Yeah.
What has happened there?
What's going on?
That is because Torino was a 5-1 win where Dennis Girl got 4 goals.
Yeah.
He then scored against Juve in a loss, a 3-2 loss, unfortunately. But then he got both goals against Empoli. That guy is in form right now.
Yeah, he is, yeah. So I can keep it going now. Got a good keeper in, so my defence is a little bit stronger with that. Good defensive midfielder in, so I think defensively I'm a little bit stronger this season, so hopefully it works for me.
Yeah, we're knocking on the door of the top 2.
Yeah.
If we're looking at the season preview, we're still bumped down in 9th and 10th, but remember, we finished, 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th last
Somewhere,
season.
yeah.
So we are knocking on the door of the title holders and pushing as much as we possibly can. As you can see, we're already dropping points. Inter Milan have won 3 from 3. But I wouldn't be too surprised if we're in around that area yet again this season. So let's find out what happens. In September, we faced off again and Chirico was scoring in the first minute of the match. However, the game ended as a draw when Dad managed to find an equaliser from a set piece. A highlight of Dad's season was the form of Dennis Girl, who had nearly got 30 goals by the end of January. My central striker Marquez surprised me though, because although he is scoring goals, he is also supplying them, getting a lot of assists as well, which has allowed Stegner to be our top scorer so far. The difference on the pitch in the first half of the season is I've managed to creep in more wins over the line than Dad has, and I'm sat in 2nd place, albeit miles behind Inter. We are sat next to each other in the Champions League phase, funny enough, and we will both be heading to the knockout playoff round. There was nothing too close about the second fixture against each other, mind. We battered Dad and scored some cracking goals to win 5-2. And his season was almost over when he lost to PSG in the round of 16 of the Champions League, which is the same round that I got knocked out to by Liverpool 5-3 on aggregate. And I say it was almost over because Dad and I are currently battling it out with the Milan sides to reach the Coppa Italia final. Dad actually came from behind in the second leg to take the game to extra time where he found a cheeky winner, while my first leg draw was an afterthought as we battered AC Milan 3-0 in my second leg. Meaning, yes, the cup final was to be decided by our two teams. My form in and around the final was horrible though, and I somehow dropped out of the top 3 to be replaced by Dad's Sampdoria, who was definitely on form. And that tells a tale of how the final actually went, which had everything, by the way. A goal in the first minute, a back and forth contest, which each teams had their very best players performing well, but also a red card that shifted momentum, all to lead to 8 goals being scored and Sampdoria lifting the trophy. Oh, probably one of the most entertaining cup finals of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, this had everything. It had goals, it went back and forth, it went 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-3 at half-time, just after half-time, down to 10 men with 2 yellow cards from Robert Wagner. He got 2 yellow cards in 4 minutes.
4 minutes, jeez.
That was an angry 4 minutes.
He didn't learn, did he?
No. Wow. Unbelievable game of football, but well done, Dad.
Your first 2 goals as well? So.
Yeah. He didn't score many in the league, but he got quite a lot in the cups. Yeah, fair play, Dad. You've won the Coppa Italia, which is great in this second to last season.
Yep.
5-3. And we were fairly close to the Serie A, the top.
It's 2 Milans again, isn't it?
Yeah, still 23 points away from Inter, who just seem to be too good.
Can we?
But there's definitely signs. There's a point between us in the league. And look at the goals. 27 from Dennis Girl. 25 from Nasty.
My 2 had a good season, didn't they?
Yeah. Stegner's down there. I mean, I had more like goal scorers, but I mean, Pedro Marquez only got 14. I'm disappointed with that. Lima, the striker who can actually shoot, he got 15 goals.
He got 15.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how he's pulled that off, but yeah.
He's probably been inside the 6-yard box and the ball zits him, goes in.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Just luck, just positioning. Yeah, he's one of those guys, isn't he? But yeah, what an entertaining season going into this. The only downside was Champions League. We were both knocked out in the round of 16. We both had hard opposition. PSG for you, Liverpool
wrong
for me.
time to come up against them 2 teams, isn't it?
Yeah, PSG went on to win the whole thing as well, beating Benfica in the final. The curse lives on, because I don't think...
Poor old Benfica, yeah.
I don't think they've won it since. No, Porto have, which is kind of good for them, but yeah, no Benfica. But there we go. Now, of course, the transfer budgets... £14 million after what I thought would obviously be a little bit more because of how well you've done. But you did spend quite a lot in the January. So maybe they are, but you did sell a lot as well, in fairness. Because there's a few players that went out in January, totaling to a good amount, including
46 million.
Fethi Yilmaz, who went out. Obviously, the left back has left the club, which is a player that you picked a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
He's gone for 25 million. He was replaced, though. So you've got a goalkeeper who's come in, who's kind of terrible, to be fair. Everson from Flamengo for £10 million is a good backup left back.
He is good, but he's not.
He's not as good as Yilmaz. Tim Van Bert, unbelievable striker to bring in.
That's a good signing.
Yeah, that is a good signing.
I mean, but you're looking at my two strikers have done so well, and I've got this guy now who's going to be pushing them now. So
yeah,
I'm pleased with that signing
because he's got 5 goals.
He got 5 goals in 13 starts. That's a good start, yeah.
But then Rui Soares was a better left back.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm happy with that one.
So
he's made a good profit on the other one.
Yeah,
and we've got a couple of good ones in, which are good prices as well.
So it's not too bad.
No,
you've also got players on the ins for. Coming up,
free
including
transfers.
obviously Jelani Best, which was obviously a player that was already at the side, but he's developing quite well. Oscar Bob is free transfer coming in, so a good option there from Real Madrid.
He plays in a couple positions I'm playing.
Yeah, and then you've got finally a Valentin Atangana Idoa, who's also coming in as a free transfer, who's a decent centre defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
So he is definitely bringing in players for you.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you had the transfer of your choice with that 15 million and a huge wage budget, in fact, you're right, actually. You're absolutely fine. You could have a really good window.
Yeah.
you could have a very good team going into this
I need
season.
I need that wheel to be on my side, though, don't I?
Yeah. We'll have a look at your player statistics before we go on to me. We've got 37 goals from Dennis Girl. Marco Nasty with 32.
Brilliant for them too, isn't it?
Yeah. Voilemann's still doing really well, 12 and 14. Jelani Best done quite well from the bench, really. 10 assists. Same as Isaac Pereira on the other side, so not bad at all. And Popovic, who's still there, getting 10 assists, so it's not too bad. Barry, then. Now, my transfer window in the January was not quite as entertaining as yours, but there was a couple of players that did join and leave the club. Santiago Jimenez left straight away. I wasn't really playing him. 35 years of age now. But the players coming in, we had two that came in. Naizinho from Internacional. My director just loves, but he couldn't play because of the non-EU rule, so he needs to learn that rule. I've got Dad as my director of football, loves a good striker, but and Rafael Felix, who's not that good, to be honest, just a backup left back more than anything. Now, I have a transfer budget of 31 million. That's the most I have had ever.
Yeah.
And guess what? He signed another striker in Sky Vink, who is unbelievable. I can only play 3. What do I do now?
Go last season like 4 up front.
It's going to get to the point where I'm going to have to just do something like this, where I just do this and do. Can any of you strikers play out on the wings? Because we have to do something. This is mental. I'm going to have so many strikers.
And they're all good as well.
They're all decent. I don't know, like, if you think about the ones at the club now, we'll go and have a look at, like, just strikers alone. It goes down to basically Masic, who can play up front, but Pedro Marquez and up. We've got, like, 5 or 6, which were in your first team. You'd be like, decent.
Yeah.
Chirico is the Italian who we've had for a while now. Obviously, Stegner he's probably my best striker, arguably. Yeah. He can play from the wings as well. And Pedro Marquez, who we've bought from last season.
He can play from the wing as well.
He can play so I might just stick a couple out on the wings. And does this work? Has anybody played this formation before? Because I'm tempted to use it. Maybe stick these inverted.
You're going to feel sorry for that guy in the middle, aren't you?
Oh, he's screwed. They're just going to have to keep rotating it.
Yeah.
And just going to have to leave it. Maybe with the money that I got, I buy an unbelievable centre defensive midfielder.
You got to, and
just be like, please just hold the fort. Just by yourself.
So you need the spin of the wheel to be in your favour as well.
Oh, yeah.
Leave it all to the director. Come on.
That's it. So in terms of goals and stuff, 34 from Mike Stegner, Pedro Marquez. I said he didn't score that many goals. He did get 18 assists, which is quite a lot, to be fair, for a striker. Lima did well as well, 20 and 13.
That's screaming for him to go out on the wing, really. He's got 18 assists. You need him out there.
He's got 15 for crossing.
Yeah.
So he might really suit that wing. So that might be something. But what a player. Okay, let's spin the wheel for both of us then and find out our fate going into this final season of the Director of Football Challenge, and it's only just getting interesting. That's what's so frustrating about it. Let's find out. Okay, you're spinning first, Dad. Anything but the green.
Come on, red or yellow.
Blue isn't perfect either. Red or yellow's are 2 good options, and you've got one at a chance for target.
Pleased with that.
That's only failed for one of us once. That was me. So let's spin again then to see what I'm gonna get. Hopefully, it's one of those red or yellow ones as well. It's going to be the yellow. Yes. Transfer of your choice. Get in. Right. Centre defensive midfielder. All on his own. That's what I'm looking for. And we're going for it in this final season. Final season, and a transfer that I found was a centre-back, and I wanted to bring in from Bayern Munich, and I managed to eventually get an offer accepted. Dad took a long time deciding who he wanted to go for, but eventually decided on a striker who can also play from the right wing. But it turned out to be a bad choice, as Michael Edwards rejected bringing in the transfer, and his attempt was failed. He wasn't the only one disappointed though, because Mike Stegner left to go to Manchester City for £57 million just 2 seasons after I paid £250,000 for him. But of course, don't worry, the recent rules at Barry is if you sell one striker, you have to sign 2 or 3 more. In fact, I have so many strikers that I was looking at the craziest formation ever just to fit them all in the side and see if I could place them on the wings too. Now you might be thinking that I am a crazy man and that it just simply would never work. And you would probably be smart for thinking that until you realise that in the first 3 games of the season, I scored 18 goals. Well, this tactic is absolutely cooking. Goals-wise, it's mental.
That's a good start, though.
Yeah, 10 goals in one game, 6 in the next, and then 9 in the next one after that. But an 8-1 victory over Bologna.
Mad,
oh, this is hilarious. This tactic is crazy, but it's somehow working at the minute. Anyway, we're top of the league. So transfer-wise, we've got loads in the transfer budget, which is really frustrating. But that is obviously because of Mike Stegner going to Manchester City for £50-odd million. Not bad, considering we paid 250 grand.
Yeah, good business.
So, very good business.
And you've got enough strikers to cover that, haven't you?
I don't think so.
If you get an injury, you could be in trouble.
Yeah, but the player that we decided to bring in was a left-footed centre-back. So I realise that we've got a really good DM already. The defenders I've been complaining about for a while, I would be a little bit hypocritical if I didn't go for a defender. There aren't a lot out there.
Well, that shows you that was the best one you could find, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the money that I had, that was the best one that would come to Barry. He's only 19. He could develop as well within that last season. But the fundamentals were there is what I was looking for. Good mental attributes. He can jump. He's quite fast. 6'3", good positioning, heading, marking, tackling. That's what I was really concerned about. Left-footed too, because that's the left-sided defender that we needed. Marcos Vinicius joined us for 4.8. He's a right winger, probably won't play much. Another guy from South America came in, who's a winger. He might play. He's quite good. He can play naturally on both wings. After selling Stegner, we needed an attacker, but he had already brought one in. £13 million for Robert Ramsack. He's quite good.
Yeah.
He has 8 goals in 3 games so far. He got 16 last season. He's already halfway there to what he had in the Bundesliga last year. And then finally, a goalkeeper on deadline day who I am going to lock in this season. We have had the same goalkeeper for so long. I actually can't remember how long ago it was that we signed Nesharat. It wasn't actually that long, but still, it felt like it's been a long time. So, yeah, I'm going to lock in this goalkeeper here. Lock in Temo as well. This tactic's crazy, but if we did best 11 picks, Sky Vink goes up front in that advanced forward role, which I like. The DLFs is Marquez and Lima. The inside forward is the left winger we just bought. Ramsack actually goes out to the right, which is weird. I don't know whether that's been playing out already. I haven't locked anybody in before this. He has played there. Oh, that's why he scored 5 goals is from right wing. Right winger scoring 5 goals. That's absolutely obscene, isn't it? But yeah, Begic in the defensive midfielder slot is the guy who's going to hold down the fort. Cracking head of hair. So, Edis Bedic, 23 years of age. He can tackle, he can pass, he can get around the pitch. He's going to need to.
Yeah.
But he's got the inverted fullbacks who can help. But yeah, not a bad start. Whereas Dad, I mean, you haven't had a bad start, don't get me wrong. But transfer-wise,
oh dear,
quite a quiet one, actually.
Well, I was looking at same sort of positions as you, really, as the defenders, especially the centre defenders. Nothing that improved my 2 that I already had there. So then I looked at the DMs. I know I bought a couple of recently, so I couldn't even improve them. So looking at my formation that I was playing, the only sort of position I felt I could improve, and I wanted to be a little more attacking, was my right winger. He was good, but I felt I could have improved him, especially if I moved him forward and went more attacking.
You never replaced Ben Doak?
No. So I was looking, if I wanted to go forward and then do maybe an inverted winger, that's what I was sort of looking at, being more attacking. So I found one eventually. I struggled to find one that I really liked because they were all, some were being chased by Real Madrid, Liverpool, and all that, and you just know they weren't going to come to me. Or the other ones were non-EU. So I didn't want to take a chance of approaching a player and finding that I couldn't play him anyway.
Sign him, yeah.
So I approached this one player. Well, I didn't approach him. I just told my
approach to
DM, the DL, the sort of like
DOF.
DOF, that's the one I'm looking for, yeah. And told him that's the player I wanted. And he rejected it.
So, no money was spent.
No.
Even though you had £16 million in there. You also have Martin James, who's loaned from Torino. He's a very good goalkeeper, so that's not too bad.
He's good, but you're not going to use him.
What, in goal? Really?
Yeah, I got the world best keeper in going,
Yeah, but is Donnarumma still that good? He is 37. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone?
Yeah, he's
retired. I didn't know that.
No. So you do need a new goalkeeper.
I did need
Martin James
well
was there.
done then. He's done something right.
Well, great decision.
What a...
This director of football is a genius. Oscar Bob came in on a free transfer, of course. That was already a done deal. Idoa was already a done deal. So the only one he actually brought in that you didn't see other than the goalkeeper was Milan Schreider. Again, a goalkeeper, but not bad. Quite good, actually.
He is, yeah.
Two good goalkeepers coming in. It is really your director of football, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do love a goalkeeper. So tactically, you have changed things around. Oscar Bob is going into a more of a central role instead of that right winger, because last season you had him down here. So he fits in that role there instead.
That's it. I mean, I just wanted to be a bit more attacking. It's last season and hopefully go for it. So that's what I've done.
Okay, well, the schedule at the start of the season, you've lost 2 games already.
Yeah.
2 away games, 2 hard away games.
I started off well with beating Lazio, so I thought that's a really good game, but come on against Atalanta and Milan, especially Milan, and lost both games, so a bit disappointed with that, really.
Yeah. In the Serie A, the season preview does put you in the top 4 finally.
Yeah.
It puts me up in 7th, so still nowhere near the top, but we're getting closer anyway. But it is the final season. We have decided the way that we are going to determine who wins the challenge is basically how many times we have finished above each other if we don't win the league this year. Which means I've got to win the league this year. But currently, I'm on track to do so.
Yes.
Very much so. So let's see how this plays out.
Milan have dropped points already.
They both.
Into Milan, so yeah.
Both have.
So that's unusual for this time of the season that they've already dropped points.
Yeah.
So you're in with a good chance.
I need to keep that up, and hopefully I can claim it right at the death. It's not surprising that the game between our sides had a lot of goals. 7, in fact, with Dad pinching a 4-3 win. Defensively, though, he was so poor and dropping far too many points in the league table, falling down the table again into the first half of the season while I was sat chasing Milan in 2nd place. The Champions League did not go to plan for Dad either, as he was knocked out by Ajax in the knockout playoff round 6-3 on aggregate, despite his director of football bringing in some new defensive reinforcements in the January window from Argentina. And in the second leg of the knockout playoff round, we had 11 goals being scored, and we suffered the same fate as Dad in the Champions League, losing to Bayer Leverkusen 8-7 on aggregate. The attacking tactic began to take its toll on us though, and we even lost to Dad again in February. And with Dad exiting the Coppa Italia early, while I stood no chance against a rampant Milan in the semi-final, we were playing for pride in our remaining league fixtures towards the end of the season. Well, there we have it. I was never close in the end. Unfortunately, my form just dropped off a cliff, but I still managed to finish above you in that final season, which does mean the total seasons between us is 8-6. So Dad finished above me 8 times. I finished above him 6 times, which means, Dad, you ultimately win the challenge, which I can't actually remember the last time you won. Challenge.
I'm pleased with that. It was a really hard challenge as well. So,
yeah.
And it was solely down to tactics then as well, really. So I'm pleased that I've won it.
Yeah, so congrats. But the last season finished down in 8th place.
Yeah.
I finished down in 5th. The Champions League, etc., we were not very good in this season. No, I mean, I was definitely not set up for a Champions League win. I lost 8-7 against Leverkusen. But yeah, an Ajax defeat to you, 6-3 in the round of 16 as well. And the Coppa Italia, I mean, I was knocked out in the semi-final. I think you were knocked out in the quarters, both by Milan. But I think it was, or you was, Lazio for you on penalties. Well, I was knocked out by Milan. So, yeah, it's a disappointing end. Because obviously we set a timer because this could go on for ages.
Yeah.
The fact that we have no influence really, but we were just getting really close and starting to get a little bit interesting in terms of how it was playing out. Even in the January though, I had all that money and he still didn't really spend it. He brought in another right winger and a free transfer who not a bad right back, but still.
He signed a lot of non-EU players for your team as well, didn't
yeah,
you?
that was costing us.
I think you had a lot of players that you couldn't play.
Yeah. Checker was joining you, who looks like a really good midfielder. Yeah. Like, he's phenomenal. And then another striker. They absolutely seem to love their strikers recently. But yeah, it was just starting to get a kind of interesting. I mean, he only signed one guy for you in the window, a really good centre defence midfielder. Maybe not somebody who you would have bought, but still somebody you would have took. Maybe we can do extra 5 years where we do the transfers or something like that in a rebuild. That might be quite interesting. If you want to see that, let us know, because I would definitely be down for doing another 5 years and seeing if we can take these teams on and see who can do better in those 5 years, because I think we got the basis of a really good team here. We would do the transfers ourselves, because screw doing that for another 5 years. But I think we'll park the Director of Football Challenge for a while, maybe until FM26 comes out, and hopefully there's some more intelligent FM26 Director of Footballs, because
100%.
some of the decision making that we have seen in this was wild. Yeah. But I really hope you enjoyed the challenge nonetheless. This has been the Director of Football Challenge. And remember, this is all thanks to Surprise Shirts from the very beginning. They gave me the Barry shirt to start this challenge off. So check out surpriseshirts.co.uk and use code OL10 or OL20 if you're getting a subscription. And you get yourself a nice little discount as well. But why not check out this video on screen, because while we're in Italy, they set me another challenge where I went to AC Milan and I had to do a youth to goal challenge to fix them, because right now they're in deep trouble. Omega Luke from the future here, and after the very underwhelming finish, we also decided to do that 5 years added on with Barry and Sampdoria taking over the transfers ourselves. And it was very entertaining. So I'll pop that on screen once it's out for you to click as well.